On this episode of the History Roadshow, we're visiting Wrest Park in Bedfordshire. The manor of Wrest was first recorded in the reign of Edward the Confessor. It was, however, the de Grey family that made Wrest what it is today. The family settled here in the 13th century and stayed for a further 600 years. The house is the creation of one man, Thomas, Earl de Grey, and when his aunt died and left him Wrest Park, rather than try and improve the original medieval house, he demolished it and in 1830 began work on the family home we see today. The Countess's sitting room was created for his wife Henrietta. Like the other rooms, it has been designed with a French styling but decorated with much lighter colouring. The room has today been refurbished to how it would have looked in the 1840s, and one of the original pieces to survive is the overmantel mirror. Thomas was extremely pleased with this offering to his wife, commenting that no lady sets foot in it without thinking that the man who invented such a jewel of a place must be a sweet man. Once through the central doors you enter the stunning staircase hall. Originally used to hold receptions, it climbs to the top of the building and is capped by a glazed oblong roof which allowed the light to flood in. The staircase handrail is of an unknown wood of South America. It was given to Thomas when he was made the first Lord of the Admiralty. The twin staircase guides the eye up to the portraits which surround the hall, showing royalty and family members. The frames of the portraits were also designed to complement the whole area, and the patterns of these were taken from his books of French architecture. The library was in essence the centre of the home, a place where family members would congregate, discuss, read and relax. So much so that de Grey assessed the proportional size of this room, from which he then took into account the rest of the building. The bookcases and scrollwork panelling were bought at auction. Now these rooms offer opulence and are so very ornate, although what we see today is a recreation of what the house would have been like. Luckily, photographs have survived, enabling modern craftsmen and women an opportunity to recreate this intricate view of life in the 19th century, and for us to appreciate the artistry and work that went into this beautiful building. To enter the dining room, you go through a small print room. The fireplace came from de Grey's London house. As you leave the dining area, you'll get a wonderful view through all the staterooms on this property. The ante-library is another connecting room. Here you can see on the left an original French Rococo style fireplace. The drawing room is now an exhibition of how Wrest Park was used as a convalescence home for soldiers during World War I. The blue wallpaper is a 20th century replacement for the French tapestries that de Grey originally commissioned. As the architect de Grey said, he always had his French books under his hand, but found his inspiration from a collaborator of Monsard, a man named Louis Laveau, who famously created the Chateau Vaux-le-Vicomte in Moncey. De Grey could not do everything alone, and he admitted his struggles when it came to costs, for example the price of materials and value of men's wages. So for this he hired a clerk of works, a man called James Clephane, a London architect and builder in his own right. The Chinese temple and bridge are set to the side of Ladies' Lake within the grounds. The temple is thought to have been designed by Sir William Chambers, a man responsible for the pagoda at Kew. It was rebuilt in the 1940s and further restored in 1967. For the bridge, well, this has been rebuilt several times, and the last one in 1876 by Earl de Grey's daughter, Anne Florence Cooper. Originally there would have been, besides the bridge and the temple, a small shell water feature along with a willow and a tulip tree. However, the willow tree no longer survives to this day. A statue of William III dressed as a Roman emperor stands at the front of the pavilion. Thomas Archer's Pavilion was built between 1709 and 1711, a structure built with a focus on the gardens and the long lake leading up to the house. The long lake was created before 1685, thought to have been modelled on Charles II canals of the 1660s at Hampton Court. On either side are gravel walkways recently restored, backed by a laurel hedgerow. The Orangery was built in the 1830s and stocked with French orange trees. The chimney piece is from the original Wrest House and it bears the de Grey coat of arms and motto, which is "Faith is everything." The round pond and waterfall were added in the 1860s. The statues are marble and the water was supplied from a cistern on the roof of the house. Since 1947, many of the garden's buildings and ornaments have been preserved by the Ministry of Works. Recently, English Heritage secured a £1 million lottery investment to develop the park for visitors. Today, maybe you can seek the inspiring ideas that once Thomas Earl de Grey dreamed of when building his family home of Wrest Park.